yourself back together. Remind yourself. Sit back, relax, and reacquaint yourself. Get back to that original, primitive, savage, naked self. Brace yourself, recreate yourself, make yourself. For too long you've been taught to hate yourself. Man, don't forsake yourself, reawake yourself. Take yourself much higher. History's not our story, man, the devil is a liar. Listen to nothing the outside world says about you. The world is made to reroute you, distract you, and then doubt you. Most these rappers bout the world, KRS is about you. So remember when I taught you about how to in and the out do. Go inside your inner city, quickly going in you. Have an interview with that energy that's within you. Ask yourself, why you? Why now? Why here? Then it becomes quite clear you are divine. You should not fear bills. You should not fear thrills. You should not stare. Focus your attention on God, which is right here. Put yourself back together. Reconnect. Yeah. Listen. No one's ever gonna tell you that you are divine. Cause they ain't reached that mind and all this time they still are blind. They tell you get in line, follow them and look for signs. Man, that's baby milk, here's the raw meat, yo, it's cooking time. It's the way in which you look at brain and look at mind. You thinking they the same, but if you look again, you'll find the whole design of nature's really from a gifted mind. A divine mind, outside what we call space and time. This divine mind is what creates brains, hearts, and livers. This divine mind produces butterflies from caterpillars and everything that quivers. Brains don't make brains, the process of birth does. I'm telling you, life is a game with its own mind, its own name, and its own aim. It's simple and plain. Divine mind produces all brains. You are a divine mind first, which then produces your brain. Divine intelligence or God, that's from which you came. Remember yourself. Put yourself back together. Remind yourself.
The word Christ is an African word, K-R-S-T. When the Greek
What's going on, beautiful people? What's going on? What's going on? It's your brother Mowa. If y'all can hear me, hit me with a 1 in the comments real quick before we get this thing started. Peace and much love, everybody. 1 2 1 2 1 2. In the building, in the building. Yeah, brother Billy, what it do? Chosen Queen, what it do? I appreciate y'all, man, for coming through. Bars, by the way. You know what I'm saying? Bars, by the way. Hey, yo, first of all, thank y'all all for coming to the very, very, very first episode of the Philosopher Study. Now, today we're going to be talking about an issue that's near and dear to my heart, and that's demystifying whiteness. But before we get into this, before we get into demystifying anything, I have to acknowledge that today is a very special day, not only because today is the grand premiere of the Philosopher Study, which it is, but today is also a special day because today is my father, who is now my guardian ancestor's birthday today, man. Y'all make some noise for my father, you know what I'm saying? Yes, indeed. Today is my father's birthday. Baba Alvin C. Fleming, man, you know, he passed away in the year 2000, man. It's been like, what, 24 years? It's amazing to really think that it's been that long, but I know that my father's still with me every day, you know what I mean? And, you know, it's his memory that sustains me. And, you know, his last words to me was, be someone who makes me proud and study. That was his charge to me, is to be someone that makes him proud and study. And I can sit here and actually see us having this conversation in person. A conversation about this conception, this perception, and all this thing that we call whiteness and white supremacy, and how it's become a taboo subject of sorts within our community on every level. Because typically when we talk about these white to black paradigms and things like that, it's mainly what you see on TV. You see people in the streets screaming on their chants over here, and then you have the other people over here saying other things against them, and we believe that that's the extent of what this issue actually is, but it's deeper than that because it penetrates every single aspect of this matrix that we live in. Currently, I'm a student. I'm on my master's degree program for my master's in library and information science. Shout out to all my librarians in the building. Hit me with a 1, you heard me? Shout out to all y'all. Come on. Shout out to all my librarian folks. Yeah. So I'm currently in this program to get my master's in library and information science. Leaders of the new cool. You already know what it is. So y'all subscribe to my man right here, Mr. Billy. And it's interesting. It's an interesting thing that I've noticed is that, one, for those that know, or for those that don't know, black people make up 5% of librarians, and that's overall. But black men in librarianship, probably less than 1%, 1 to 2%. So when I thought about that, and I thought about the literature that's coming out of these institutions that talk about blackness and black people and black everything and stuff like that, I understand that it's from a perspective of a field that only has 2% of black representation, and the representation within that might not be the most diverse of sample sizes to actually choose from. And the things that really that really brought an anger out of me is like when I was reading this literature for class, a lot of these things were speaking about myself, my people, and my ancestors in this weak, hostile mode, as if the totality of blackness is only in struggle and what mean things white people did to us. And that's not the truth. That's not even remotely the truth. The truth of the matter is that ever since we was on this sojourn over here to America, ever since that sojourn, we've always participated in the struggle, and we always participated with our resiliency and our fight and our thrive. And no matter what was done against us, we always had a means to fight against it and stand up against it. So when I look at my ancestors, I see a sense of pride and I see a sense of honor. But what we will talk about very soon is how the mainstream vision of our people, my people, is supposed to be seen through victimhood. It's gotten so bad, y'all. It's gotten so bad to the point that a lot of our own people has taken on this mindset in and of themselves, actually start to agree with the weird presuppositions that whiteness has for them. So we're starting to agree with the fact that we're victims. We're starting to agree with the fact that we're hopeless. We're starting to agree that we can't do anything in and of ourselves without some outside force to be a catalyst for our movement. And this is something I'm vehemently against and disagree with. So let's sit back and relax and talk about this for a little bit, man. Let's do this thing right here, which is called Demystifying Whiteness. So yeah, we getting there. There we go. We getting there. We getting there. Don't you worry. The movement's gonna be smooth before you know it. So what we're talking about is demystifying whiteness. And when we think about whiteness, let me turn this music down here. I need y'all to feel me where I'm coming from. So when we're talking about whiteness and white supremacy, we have to look at it from a historical point of view, and we have to look at the environment in which whiteness was able to do the things that it was actually able to do. Now, pardon me, I did some research on this very topic here, and check out this quote. For newly acquired Africans, the requirement of docility and abject obedience, masters believe, had to replace traits of manly independence and self-direction. This is in a book called The Society and Culture of the Slave South. Now let's step back for a minute and look at what was actually being said. For the newly acquired Africans, first of all, that the way that they said newly acquired Africans, it established their personhood and their humanity. This is something that eventually gets stripped away through what is called white supremacy, racism, and things like that. And it said for that to happen, the requirement of docility and abject obedience. This is what the manifestation of white supremacy is for its subjects: docility and abject obedience. So, and the masters believed had to replace traits of manly independence and self-direction. So what is being said right here? What's really being said is that these newly acquired Africans, these full-on human beings, they came already with the traits of manly independence and self-direction. These are and were human beings with their own traits of manly independence and self-direction. So what does that mean for white supremacy? If for the requirement for docility and abject obedience to occur, and that for that to occur, the removal or the replacement of manly independence and self-direction had to occur. So what this means is white supremacy cannot deal with full-on human beings, adults, men, women, those who are still attached to their humanity. For this thing called white supremacy, for the supremacy of whiteness to occur, that sense of humanhood, manly independence, and self-direction had to be replaced with docility and abject obedience. So this right here already is a cause for self-reflection. This calls for self-reflection. Where are you docile at? Where are you showing abject obedience at? Now you have to ask yourself, why am I feeling docile? Why am I being abjectly obedient to whomever? Because that feeling of docility, that act of abject obedience has replaced what is rightfully and naturally yours. Traits of manly, womanly, independence, and self-direction. These are the acts of human beings. These are the traits of human beings. So therefore, the purpose of white supremacy, the purpose of whiteness is to fog your mind off of your humanity, to distract you away from your own independence and self-direction. Because if you don't have your own independence and self-direction, who are you allowing to direct you? Who do you feel has to direct you? This is cause for self-reflection. Because in the literature that speaks about white supremacy, in the literature that talks about hit the wrong button, y'all. We still getting there. But in the literature that talks about white supremacy and whiteness, it made me forget what I was about to say. I see. In the literature that talks about white supremacy and whiteness, it talks about it in collegiate settings, in college. It talks about it like in high school, kinda. It talks about it late in schooling. But the fact of the matter is, this has been an issue that happens way before then. Because there's an attack on the mind way before you get to college, before you get to these collegiate articles and things that these people are spewing off. This damage has already been done for 10 plus years before you get to this point. So when you get to the point that you're in college talking about it, the damage has already been done. And we don't even know what the core or the root of the problem is, because we have misconceptions and misunderstandings of what white supremacy is, and we have a skewed understanding of our own resilience and our own humanhood to combat this thing called white supremacy, if it's even meant to be combated. Hold on. What do I mean by that? What do you mean, Brother Mowa, that if it even means to be combated? Of course it needs to be combated, because white supremacy and racism and all of these things. But the in the Bible it says we fight not against flesh and blood, but against spirits and principalities in high places. So let's look at that in another context. So before we even fight this fight of flesh and blood, the fight is really mental. The revolution is mental. The change is mental. The change that has to happen within all of our souls is mental first. We have to exorcise that demon called white supremacy out of our minds first before we are even able to do anything. Because this is the fatal flaw that this whatever it is has. You can't both fight against white supremacy while having white supremacy as its standard. Say that again. You cannot fight against white supremacy while having white supremacy as the standard. It doesn't work that way. It's like a dog chasing its tail. You have to step outside of the paradigm of what they call whiteness and what you are defined within that paradigm. The question to ask yourself is, who are you? They might call you a slave. They might call you a victim. They might call you a this. They might call you a that. But at the end of the day, who are you? And why do you feel that you need their permission, their blessings, their understanding for you to be you? Again, these are the things that we must do. These are the things that calls for self-reflection, because it's gotten so bad, y'all, that many of our people are starting to believe it. I've never even heard of this term until I got, back into school. This idea of the imposter syndrome, the weirdest thing in the world to me. It's like you're around other people and you feel like you're an imposter, but that you don't deserve to be in the same space as other people and things like that. And unfortunately, a lot of my brothers and sisters have ascribed to this madness, this idea of an imposter syndrome. I'd be like, but brother, how so? Sister, how so? When you had to go to school and get your master's in library and information science, why would you then, after you did all the work that you rightfully, toiled through, get to the end of it just to feel like you're an imposter to somebody else? See, the thing with the current discourse about race, they will say these things about the imposter syndrome. They'll say these things about victimization. They will say these things about you're a victim, you're a this, you're a that, you're a lower, you're a lesser, you're an other, you're a blah, 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 blah. But they never set it up as a dialogue. They never asked you if this is how you feel. They told you how you feel and you just agreed with it. And that's wild to me. That is wild. I'm thankful for my father. I'm thankful for the ways that the way I was raised, because that's a total foreign concept to me. And it really hurts my soul when I see my brothers and sisters succumb to this nonsense. But there's many ways that white supremacy has manifested itself. And it's about to get controversial up in here. Like, let's be real. Because even in things that are dressed in such a way like it's supposed to be for our liberation, it's really just tools of white supremacy and whiteness. Yeah. I definitely just said that. Wolves in sheep's clothing, if you will. Wolves in sheep's clothing, if you will. Anything that tells you that you're a lesser, that you're an other, that you're lower, that you're not worthy of, is your enemy. And I don't care if it wears a three-piece suit or dashiki. That's your enemy. If any teacher out here is telling you to follow anything but your own heart and your own soul, yeah, you can have them for guidance, but it's yourself that defines yourself. Because in too many instances in this realm, too many people are just trying to make little thems. We don't have too many leaders. We don't have too many leaders. All we have is personalities and merchants. Nobody that's really willing to tell you the truth of the matter, just to keep you in this treadmill of victimization, weakness, and things like that, because they know that the weak and poor and blind and dumb are just going to try to buy their way out of the situation that they're in. And if I may step back for just a moment, because I really meant to open up with this, but we just went off on full throttle with it. I wanted to talk to y'all a little bit about, one, what is philosophy, and then two, why I'm a philosopher rather than a representative of a community. This is an important distinction to make. This is an important thing to understand if you want to understand where it is that I'm coming from. So first of all, philosophy comes from the word philosophia, which means the lover of wisdom. So me as the lover of wisdom, a philosopher, that frees me from the cultural and spiritual gangbanging that most of these people on the mainstream do. I'm able to sip from the cup from a Muslim brother, Ifa brother, sister, Christian, whomever, because I love the wisdom. It's the wisdom for that attracts me, that guides me. And that can only come through experience. And that's an important distinction to make, because from what I've witnessed with these so-called leaders and of these other communities, they're more so just mouthpieces of recycled rhetoric. If you push them with a little pushback, they fall immediately, unable to really have a discussion about really anything. But the people that they're preaching to have less skills than they do. So it's like in the world of the blind, the man with one eye is the king. So I'm led by wisdom. I'm led by thinking intently and deeply about whatever subject is at hand. So if y'all choose to really rock with me, understand that whatever has come to my mind, important enough for me to press record and talk about it, please understand that I thought deeply about it, or am thinking deeply about it. That's my philosopher's promise to you. I don't come here to serve you gossip. I don't come here really to entertain you. To be honest with you, I don't even come here to lead you. I come here not to tell you what I know, but I'm here to tell you how I know it. The what is up to you. The what is what you have to figure out for yourself. What are you doing? Have you ever sat there and really thought about that? That's the thought of the philosopher. What are you doing? Have you ever contemplated that question in and of yourself? Because sometimes we're so quick on moving automatically out of reflex that we don't even really give any reason to why we do the things that we do. That in and of itself is an act of white supremacy, an act of whiteness in this context. Because once you really understand what whiteness and white supremacy is, and let's cut through the suspense. It's a distraction. Anything to distract you from what it is that you are here to do. And that thing that you're here to do is really up for you to decide and define. Anything that if that distracts you from that, it got you. Peace, fam. So the philosophical question to ask yourself is, who am I and what it is that I do? Because once we get to this point of who am I and what it is that I do, we will then understand that anything outside of that purpose is the enemy. You can call it white supremacy. You can call it whiteness. You can call it haters. You can call it whatever it is that you want to call it. But what we're dealing with in mass is a distracted culture. What we're dealing with in mass, distracted people, blown to and fro by every wind of doctrine. We don't know why we get up in the morning. We don't know why we do anything. We're just moving off of reflex and moving in a way that is already prescribed for us. Word up. So again, let's talk about what this whiteness actually is. It's a mental fog meant to distract you from who you are. It will convince you that you're lesser. It'll convince you that you're nothing. It'll convince you that you need something outside of yourself. In psychology terms, it's called an external locus of control. You believe that everything that happens to you is based off of everything that's outside of yourself. That's an external locus of control. The opposite is an internal locus of control. You control your feelings. You control your square. You stand on yours. You sit and you contemplate why it is you feel the way that you do. So we go back to what whiteness was right here. Let's see. The requirement for whiteness. For the newly acquired African, the requirement for docility and abject obedience, masters believe, had to replace traits of manly independence and self-direction. So this is what we have to do going forward. Self-assess yourself. Understand why you're feeling docile in certain situations. Why you feel you're practicing abject obedience in other situations. Because, there's another saying in the Bible that God has not given us a spirit of fear. I would like to follow that up with, if God has not given us a spirit of fear, who did? Let's go deeper. To handicap a student by teaching him that his black face is a curse and that his struggle to change his condition is hopeless, it's the worst sort of lynching. It kills one's aspirations and dooms him to vagabondage and crime. It is strange then, here we go, listen. It is strange then that the friends of truth and the promoters of freedom have not risen up against this present propaganda in the schools and crushed it. This crusade is much more important than the anti-lynching movement because there would be no lynching if it did not start in the classroom. Why not exploit, enslave, or exterminate a class that everybody is taught to regard as inferior. Dr. Carter G. Woodson, The Miseducation of the Negro. Y'all, this was written in 1933. This was written in 1933. But understand this. I tell people this all the time. It's like, again, what is the purpose of white supremacy? What is the purpose of racism? What is the purpose of whiteness and whatever is the new term, whatever? White supremacy is a farce that attempts to destroy the self-confidence of black people. But the most it can do is muddy the waters of perception. My dear brother said earlier, it doesn't stop you from being successful. And that's real. It's everything here that we're dealing with is a mind game. If you believe that you ain't shit, you definitely are going to be ain't shit. If you believe indeed that you're lesser, if you believe indeed that you're not, if you believe indeed that you're an other, as a man thinketh, so is he, so is she. The wisdom has always been there in various forms. But again, look, the game got it's distraction. The wisdom has been out there. But everybody's so distracted at the point that just because it's coming from the Bible that you can't get the wisdom out of it, or just because it came out of the Quran you can't get the wisdom out of it. These are other branches of white supremacy because it's blocking you and distracting you from the purpose of actually getting the wisdom of what is being said. You can read the books all day. You can quote your favorite teacher all day. But if it's not being applied, it is worthless. What's another term they always say? Faith without works is dead. It's already there. And within the context of African Americans here, another branch of white supremacy is something that I believe I've coined. I call it inter-African self-hatred. We want to be Egyptians. We want to be Yoruba. We want to be Hebrew. We want to be Native Americans. We want to be everything else outside of ourselves, because everybody got power outside of ourselves. While we still call ourselves and our people by the nomenclature that the white slave master put on us. And you claiming you free. You claiming you free and you calling your ancestors slaves. How that work? You say you honor your ancestors, but you don't fuck with your ancestors that was enslaved. How that work? You rather grab onto Mansa Musa than your great auntie. How that work? While saying that you're fighting against white supremacy, while saying that you're breaking generational curses. How in the hell are you breaking generational curses when you dissing your ancestors that are the closest to you? It's foolishness. It's foolishness. Exactly, brother. I honor their struggles by living their dream. How dare I be lesser than? How dare I take on a victim mindset when they was able to excel and exceed with things less than what I have right now? Come on. We got the dopest ancestors in the world, B. But you let them call it. We don't have a heritage. And these are people that dress in dashikis. These are people with fancy African names and everything like this. And they want to go all the way to Mansa Musa. They want to go all the way over there. They want to go all the way over here and skip the 400 years that made sure that you're alive. But you say that you honor your ancestors, though. How that work? This is why the ancestors are not responding to your call. Saying stuff like, slavery isn't my history. Slavery interrupted my history. That's bullshit. It is what it is. We went through what we went through. But instead of praising them for their resilience, you want to speak about your very own ancestors with the same vocabulary as the so-called white slave master. How does that work? This is why we have a bunch of powerless mouthpieces into African self-hatred. But the question that you have to ask yourself is, what are you going to do about it today? I'm not going to disrespect the struggles and things that my ancestors went through to get to this point right here and fumble the ball. Marcus Garvey's always had a dope saying. It's like, rise up, you mighty race. But you got to see and understand and feel your own greatness and understand that whiteness, white supremacy, or whatever it is that you want to call it, it is not a sentinel that is blocking away your personhood, your humanity, your love, your sense of worth, your sense of self, or anything like that. It's a distraction, G. Absolutely. They took the L so we can win. Yo, they took the jab so we can slip the cross. So my children after me are going to be able to counter with a hook. The power of your mind is very underrated. And if you go through life not understanding or knowing that, other people that do understand it are going to use that information against you. I'm going to give you an example. Come on. I'm going to give you an example. For me to take anybody really seriously, as a speaker, as a leader, as a thought leader, or whatever the case is, one of the main things that I have to have or I have to see is evidence of them standing on their principles and square under the scrutiny of debate with an opposing viewpoints. I don't see that very often anymore. When I watch old clips of Brother Martin or Brother Malcolm or Stokely Carmichael or Eldridge Cleaver, etc., they articulated their points. They listened and had rebuttals, and because at very least, whether you agreed with them or not, at least it proved that they understood what they were talking about. But when I see today the likes of the Ibram X. Kendis of the world and others of that ilk, I don't see them sitting on their square. I don't really see them taking question and answers. And then all of a sudden, these ideas have taken a broad sweep over our major institutions. And nobody's asking why. No scrutiny at all. Just a rubber stamp. And now all of a sudden, we have to be the most sensitive whatever to ever exist. Because my thing is this. I'm not a fan of Mr. Kendi. And my thing is, he and others like him always talk victimhood and victimization over the people from a privileged position. How does that work? Why is it always multi-millionaires and all these people that's way up that got their bread telling the people behind them that you can't? But you can't though. You know what I'm saying? I can do it, but you can't. You no, not you. You're stamped from the beginning. Wouldn't it be of much more value if the brother was like, you know, he was a professor and all of that good stuff? Like, wouldn't it be of much more value to tell me about your trials and tribulations for you to become a professor and become a successful author and things like that, the trials and tribulations that you faced, dealt with, and overcame for you to be the person that you are today? But no, you rather just say the things that you're saying. That goes back to this right here. Handicapping the student, teaching them that his black faces a curse and that his struggle to change his condition is hopeless. And Dr. Carter G. Woodson said that's the worst sort of lynching. I don't have the verbatim quote, but Booker T said something. Booker T. Washington said something to the effect of, there were charlatans out there that wished these racial kind of the discussions would continue because they could just pad their pockets off of it. Teaching people that their skin is a curse and to struggle is to change their condition is hopeless. Imagine telling that to a child. So to demystify whiteness is to remove its aura of power and define it as it is. A mental fog that is designed to distort, diminish, and define all of its participants through the distraction of a powerful versus powerless paradigm. The focus must be shifted from solely looking at the damages that white supremacy has done, determining that to be the absolute, to witnessing the triumphs of black people despite the odds as a springboard of possibility. That's what we stand on. That's what we stand on. You know, it was so disappointing. It was so disappointing. It's like, where is the pride of the black man and the black woman today? Where's that strength? Where's that grit that got us here? It's the most sucker ass thing. It was like when the thing about affirmative action happened. I did not see one black leader say, you know what, no matter what the bar is set at, we're gonna excel it. If we gotta be 4.0 students to get into these institutions, we're gonna do so good, we're gonna be 5.0, 6.0, whatever it is. But everybody was saying, like the Joy Reids of the world and all that, oh, these niggas ain't gonna make it to college without affirmative action. Y'all ain't gonna make it without affirmative action. Y'all niggas is too stupid to get into any kind of institution without affirmative action. This is what it is. These people that took on this mindset have accepted Lower expectations as reparations. Too many of us have accepted lower expectations as reparations. Listen to what they're saying. Fam, they have said that math is white. They have said that being on time is an act of white supremacy. They have said standardized testing is white. They have said the reason that black people don't go into these academic libraries is because they have pictures of the white directors on the wall, and it's intimidating. And I'm sitting here like, nobody's offended by this shit? We can't get into the colleges due to without having affirmative. Yo, did W.E.B. Du Bois have affirmative action in there? Carter G. Woodson, all of them, all the named and unnamed brothers and sisters that broke through glass ceilings. It's so weird. This shit is so weird. And the fact that so many of our people are embracing this thought process is insanity to me. We have been given the wisdom from our ancestors, but we don't want to use it because it came from our ancestors here in America. Greater is he that is in me than he that is in the world. How many people mama and grandmama used to say that? Those that come from the biblical tradition. No weapon formed against me shall prosper. These weren't just sayings. These were affirmations over our life. That came from the loving hearts and minds and souls of our ancestors to us through prayer and protection against the wiles of the devil. They were talking about white supremacy and all their presuppositions about yourself. But you want to jump on a culture and a language, even if it's African, of something that you don't even understand. You can't even speak the language like that. Come on, fam. I ain't tripping, Emma. Because, you know what I'm saying, with the crew that I got right here that's watching with me right here, I appreciate y'all. I appreciate y'all, yo. Because y'all at least let me know I ain't like 100% crazy. You know what I'm saying? Or maybe we all are. I don't know. But like, I appreciate you, brother. It's just I'm tired, brother. And see, the thing is, I'm tired of seeing our people in this condition, but more so, I'm tired of slowing down my own shit to tell them. Because anybody out here that feel the way that I feel know that it's the time is absolutely now, right? Like this year just feel different, it smelled different, it just tastes different. And I'm about to go out and get mine, B. I said, look, I'm gonna go ahead and invest in myself. I'm gonna start my podcast. I'm gonna do my thing. And like, no weapon formed against me shall prosper. I don't see it. It's not real to me, therefore it don't exist. So poof, Van Moose, son of a bitch. Word the hoe. Peace, peace, peace. We gotta find that inner resolve. What you gotta find that inner resolve. You gotta find that inner resolve. And all this is gonna happen through self-contemplation. Why do I feel the way that I feel? Why do I get nervous at things I get nervous at? If God has not given me a spirit of fear, who did? Malcolm used to ask us, who the one that taught you to hate yourself from the top of your head to the soles of your feet? Who's the one that taught you to hate the color of your skin so much that you want to bleach to look like the white man? Who told you to hate the shape of your nose and the shape of your lips? Who taught you this thing, G? And the thing is, don't even go too deep in that rabbit hole of finding out who exactly did it. Because the more important thing is leaving that where it be. Let the dead bury the dead. And go out and get yours. Find out who you are. Ask God to reveal himself, herself, themselves, whatever it is that you believe, to reveal themselves to you. So you can walk out into this world as a free human being with an internal locus of control. That's what I wish upon you. Before we wrap up this evening, and I do appreciate y'all for coming out here, I really do. I like to set aside some time for some dialogue and Q&A and everything like that, man. So like, if y'all had any thoughts, feelings, agreements, disagreements, whatever, let's have a discourse about it. Let's talk about it. I appreciate all y'all for coming out. Please like and subscribe and all that fun stuff. And I appreciate y'all that joined on the YouTube, man. Help that algorithm pop a little bit. You know what I'm saying? We're on our path for 1,000 followers, so we can start making that bread. You feel me? But yeah, this is the moment right here, man. So for some dialogue, some back and forth, because I don't never want it to be just me talking. You know what I mean? But at the same time, if y'all ain't got nothing to say, you know what I'm saying, it's all good too. You know what I'm saying? If our hearts and minds are clear, it's all good. But I just want this to be a means for you, whomever that might be listening, that might not be listening directly, but might be in the kitchen somewhere else over there, whatever. If you're on like a teeter-totter of whether you should go for your dreams or go down the path of self-discovery, here's one message for you. There we go. Yeah. Come on with it, man. Ain't nobody gonna give it to you. Ain't nobody gonna give you nothing. Whatever you got that's coming to you, you got to go out and get it. I believe in you. I believe in anything that you say that you want to do for yourself. You have to start speaking life into yourself. Look, you cannot sit here wait for someone like myself or someone else to come and speak life into you. You got to understand that you have the power to do it in and of yourself. And you feel me? Do you. It don't matter who's against you. Greater he that is in me than he that is in the world. We've heard this all before. No weapon formed against me shall prosper. We heard this all before. And here's another great scripture. Come on with it. Beat your chest. Tell the world to bring it, and you'll be surprised about what strength you have that's residing in your soul. Stop taking on this mentality and this verbiage and the vernacular of a loser, of a victim, of shake that shit off. We got work to do. Holla at me, brother. What's up, cousin? Holla at me. Holla at me. What you got? What's on your mind, brother? And as he getting that together, man, did y'all enjoy yourselves, man? Just think, man, this is just episode 1. Everything is going to get better from here. You know what I'm saying? Everything is going to get better from here. Let's see what the brother. Okay. I appreciate you, brother. It's only gonna get better from here, man. You know what I'm saying? Because sometimes I'm my own worst critic, and I don't want to feel like I'm rambling sometimes. But you know what I'm saying? I appreciate y'all, brother Mech. Was that all you had to say right there, brother? Do you want me to respond to that, or did you have more coming? Pause. Exactly. See, that was the question that I was going to ask for you. So this is what the brother was saying at first, that his school came under fire because the principal was recorded ranting about black student failings. The first thing I was going to ask is, was it true? It's all good, bro. That was my first thing I was going to ask, but was it true though? Look, fam, we cannot be more offended by the facts than the facts themselves. If black people are failing, and our students are, our young scholars are, instead of getting offended at the fact that we are failing, we need to do something about the failure. And I'm a brother that walks and talks it. Shout out to all the librarians out here doing their thing and all the real community leaders out here doing their thing. Man, fam, I volunteered at my local elementary school today. Okay? Or yesterday. I'm doing it every week. Setting up partnerships with the school. Creating a literacy program. Sisters in the building. See, but that's the thing right there, brother. Those that are in the know, even a little bit more than know. Let me tell you a story about our ancestors. Let me tell you a story about our ancestors and how great they are. When our ancestors were enslaved here in America, and we went through the trials and tribulations to learn how to read. Oh, let me give literary lady some love right here. Please, peace, peace. I appreciate you. When our ancestors were enslaved, right, and we went through the trials and tribulations to learn how to read, we didn't have to know the whole alphabet to teach our brothers and sisters what we knew. If we only knew A, B, C, and D, we would have full-on family discussions about A, B, C, and D. And we will try to spell as many words that we can from A, B, C, and D. And as our knowledge progressed, we taught our people what we learned more and more as we learned more and more. But to do that legitimately, you have to come from a place of humbleness. That's something I don't really see too much of at this point. Again, we don't have leaders; we have merchants, and entertainers and personalities. Everybody has something to sell to you, and I will eventually too. But I put in my work first, so I put in my work for years. So now we get to the point now where I need more financial support from the people that see me putting work for years, and I appreciate whatever it is that you might be able to do. You feel what I'm saying? But that's just real. The real conscious know that money make the world go round, you know what I'm saying? But it's going to take real other conscious people to be like, look, I'm going to help you out. I'm going to help you out however I can, whatever I can. 3 ways. I'm gonna make sure I press share and like and comment so the algorithm can fuck with you. If I got a couple of dollars I can send to you, I'm gonna send it to you. Cause look, my nigga, look, I'm gonna keep it all the way real. I'm gonna keep it all the way real. Look, ain't nobody gonna have me out here talking about how these people didn't pay me what I'm worth. All I need is 1,000 real fans, 1,000 real followers or whatever, 1,000 real supporters that will purchase anything that I put out, support anything that I put out, and show mad love. And I figure there's 1,000 real ones in each city, state, and province or whatever. So that's all I'm looking for. That's all I'm looking for is that 1,000 in each city, state, and province and country or whatever. Everybody else, yo, do your thing. But even if my 1,000 is literally that 1,000, to whomever I'm speaking to, I appreciate you. You feel what I'm saying? But yeah, man, it's weird, man. If it's the truth, we can't be offended by the truth. We can't be offended by the truth, and we can't be offended by history. It is what it is. Unless it's not. That's real. But whatever it is, we got to deal with it. Don't be so engulfed into history that you get trapped by it, okay? Whether you was kings or whatever, you know what I'm saying? Like, all right, that's what you did then. All right, what you doing today, though? I'ma chill. But any other thoughts or feelings or anything like that, yo? This is the time for Q&A. This is the time for dialogue. I'm not sure if I'm going to be doing every philosopher study live. I don't know. Do y'all like it? Y'all like live? Live is good? That's a good question. So what do you mean? What are we doing for the future? Like we as in us here on this live right here, we as in black folks in general. What do you mean? What am I actually doing for the future? Word up, bro. You know, this is part and parcel of one of my grand ideas is developing the Mowa Academy of Applied Philosophy. So we're definitely getting it in. You know, we need to form work study think tanks. I want form our own academic journals. You know what I'm saying? Carter G. Woodson did it. How come we can't do it? You know what I mean? I feel you. What a see, sister. I'm gonna be frank with you. I don't know what they gonna do. I don't know what they gonna do. Shit. That's just real. I know what I'm gonna do. I know people who think like me gonna do. But what are black people in general gonna do? I don't know. Because Frederick Douglass says it's easier to raise children than change these fucked up ass adults. Something like that. That's not a direct quote, but you know, I mean, something similar. It's time for adults to wake the fuck up and grow up and you feel me? That's what a lot of adults need to do, but the children are innocent. Word. The children are innocent. So what I do is I volunteer wherever I can. You know, luckily my job is working with the community off of that strength. But even if I didn't do this, I would still be volunteering because these children are our tomorrow. And if our tomorrow can't read or write, we're in trouble. We already make up 45% of the occupations that's going to be taken over by AI. What we gonna do then? They're already bringing immigrants from all over the world to replace black people in general as a voter base, what are you gonna do then? How bad does it have to be before we realize that we have to do something different? I can't burn down with the house trying to save people. Adults. Children are different. Choose your own adventure, yo. Sure. Straight up and down. Choose your own adventure. What you gonna do? Because even with these children, like once we, because again, plant the seed, water the seed, then you got to move on. However long that seed, that process of planting and watering is, that's between you, the creator, and that person. But life can change very quickly and end very quickly. And I'm just not going to have it be succumb to perceptions of victimhood from this fucking boogeyman. That's some corny shit. And I'm tired of it. It's disrespectful to the ancestors and myself and everything else. So the best thing I feel that you can do is be the best you, because you are here for a reason. You are here for a reason. And understand this. Distractions are not meant to distract you. Distractions are meant to help you keep your focus. So be so in tune with your focus that you're able to recognize what a distraction actually is. Because once you're able to recognize what a distraction actually is, you will no longer be distracted. Be it whiteness or white supremacy or any of that sucker shit, haters or whatever. You have the power, yo. But it's your brother Mowa. Ain't nothing to it but to do it. Write it down, make a plan, and do it. Write it down, make a plan, and do it. Don't make me get Debo. Don't make me get Debo. Don't make me get Debo. Anytime. All right. Look, I'm not calling you this, sister. I'm just saying what Debo said. And every time you feel like you faltering off the path, you got to tell yourself. You feel what I'm saying? Beat your chest. Take it on. You can do it. I believe in you. I appreciate y'all. I appreciate y'all for coming in and tuning in to the first Philosopher study. I hope I'm going to get flagged for this, but I got to play this song one more time before we roll. I'll holler at y'all.
Sit back, relax, and reacquaint yourself. Get back to that original, primitive, savage, naked self. Brace yourself, recreate yourself, make yourself. For too long you've been taught to hate yourself. Man, don't forsake yourself, reawake yourself. Take yourself much higher. History's not our story, man, the devil is a liar. Listen to nothing the outside world says about you. The world is made to reroute you, distract you, and then doubt you. Most these rappers bout the world, KRS is about you. So remember when I taught you about how to in and the out do. Go inside your inner city, quickly going in you. Have an interview with that energy that's within you. Ask yourself, why you? Why now? Why here? Then it becomes quite clear you are divine. You should not fear. Bills, you should not fear. Thrills, you should not stare. Focus your attention on G-O-D, which is right here. Yourself. Put yourself back together. Reconnect. Yeah. Listen. No one's ever gonna tell you that you are divine. Cause they ain't reached that mind, and all this time they still are blind. follow them and look for signs. Man, that's baby milk. Here's the raw meat, yo, it's cooking time. It's the way in which you look at brain and look at mine. You thinking they the same, but if you look again, you'll find